Welcome, 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 welcome. What's happening, good people? What's happening, good people? What's happening, good people? And we're going to kick this party off here in a moment. I got Kenyon coming in here in a moment. Also, special guests, we will have Debbie. Debbie will be joining us at some point tonight as well. But what's happening, everybody? How's everybody doing so far? How have things transpired for you guys? How are you guys feeling about that? Looks like I got Kenyon already. So, like I told you guys, I had Kenyon in the queue, and he is here now. Yeah, man. Early shakeup. Interesting. For you guys that don't know, Travis Hunter has gone to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And also, guys, make sure, confirm that y'all can hear me and everything, man. I'm streaming through my normal software, but I'm actually using I'm streaming from my software, but capturing the window in another program. So Kenyon and I would be visible. So y'all make sure that everything is everything. But man, Kenyon, it's like Kenyon always tells me, man, you know, the draft is full of surprises. I told him earlier that I was running a little bit behind. You know, I took my son to a basketball workout tonight where he's able to practice with older kids. They have a tournament this weekend, and they finished a little later. So I was rushing to get home, eat. And I said to Kenyon, I mean, it don't matter. You know, we don't pick until, you know, later. And Kenyon said, you never know. Moves could happen. And what do you know? Jacksonville acquired the Cleveland Browns number 2 overall pick, and they took Travis Hunter. So there you have it. But anything else happened, Kenyon? Because you know I'm not watching it per se because I'm in the room that I'm in, so I can't really watch the draft. Oh, I can't hear you. Just letting you know, I can't hear. I don't hear anything. And while Kenyon gets that situated, guys, also give me a second. Let me make sure my screen is not bleeding white right there. Let me see. There we go. Actually, you know what? I should be able to pull it up on. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. I should be able to pull it up. I think they show it live on NFL Network or NFL.com. Oh, I think I heard you. Heard you for a second. It was a quick second that I heard you. But what y'all got in the chat, man? Again, while we wait for the audio to catch up, what do y'all got, man? Anything y'all want to say? Who you think we should take? What do you think the Steelers are going to do? Any other surprises you expect? Yada, yada, yada. I mean, it's draft night. This is what we've been waiting for. It's draft night. This is what we've been waiting for. Let me see, man. Is there a way for me to watch it on NFL Network? NFL.com? Draft tracker, draft info. Let's see if ESPN is showing it. I think that's the surprise for tonight. The Master of Music says it's poetic that the UFL is on at the same time as the draft, though, because some of these guys drafted may be playing there instead of the NFL. Yeah, that is quite funny. All right, guys, I'll wait for Kenyon to return. He should be back here in a moment. Trying to see if I can watch the draft live. Let's see if ESPN, they ain't gonna let me do it without paying for something probably. Let me see. And the reason why I'm not officially watching it, guys, is because I don't have cable in the room that I'm in. And I don't have traditional cable either. I use an IPTV, if you guys are familiar with that. I use an IPTV where I get pretty much every channel that I want. You know what I mean? Tubi. Somebody says it's on Tubi. Peacock. Okay, well, I got a couple of those things on my phone. It's on ABC. Yeah, but remember, y'all, I'm not in the office. In the still basement, I don't have a TV. So let me see if I can access some of these apps. I think I might have Peacock on my phone. Y'all let me know if that's a pause. Nah. I'm starting to get to the point, guys, where I don't even do, I don't play the pause game like that no more, man. You know what I mean? I'm a grown man, man. But, you know, I just do it for fun factor. You know, it's funny to do. Pause. Hold on, y'all. Let me see. Peacock. Nah, I'm not signing to that. I am signing to, I think I got ESPN Plus on my phone. Hold on. Nope. But if not, I'm not going to worry about it, man. I ain't really got to watch it. You know, I could just, as the picks come across, it's all good. Hold on, let me see. ESPN Plus. Oh, hold on. We got something. We got action. Watching the Pat McAfee show on my telefono. Speaking of pauses, this Shannon Sharp thing. Oh, man. Hold on. All right. New England selects Will Campbell. Okay. Where did New England pick, guys? Were they third or fourth? I'm going to pause this really quick. New England Patriots select Will Campbell. They were fourth. So who did Giants take? Did they take Carter? I'm asking y'all, and all I got to do is go look for myself. Hold on, let me see. Who did the Giants take? Did they take Abdul Carter? Let me see. They took Carter. Okay. All right, so quarterbacks are still on the board. So right now, guess what we're waiting to see, guys, is who the Cleveland Browns traded back to settle on, right? Who did they trade back to settle on? I'm wondering if they are going to take a quarterback. And if they are they going to take one Shedeur Sanders? Are they going to take Jackson Dart? Because the interesting thing is, guys, all of this speculation and everything that we were hearing from some people were saying that the Giants were big on Jackson Dart, right? That's what we were hearing. Reports kept saying that the Giants were big on Jackson Dart, as well as, you know, they've had their eye on Shedeur. But the funny thing is the story became about Shedeur, but the interesting thing is the Giants did the same due diligence on all of the quarterbacks for the most part. So it is going to be very interesting to see, man, what happens next. Hold on, guys. I'm just, posting my link out to a few places here. Try to get as many Steeler knuckleheads in here as I can. But come on, guys. Give me some chatter, man, while I'm waiting for Kenyon, man. I'm going to need you guys to help me out. What y'all got? Daron says we should trade back to get more picks. I'm not opposed to that. Let me ask you guys, like, seriously, what would be the plan if you were the GM, if you are the Steelers GM and you trade back? What would be the plan? If you were to trade back, what would be the plan? Sim Gaming Network, what's up, my good brother? Man, I have a Madden game in the clip. I thought it uploaded last night, but it's saying it's some inconsistencies with the file or something because it's two different videos and Premiere didn't upload it. So what I might do is I might just upload it, raw. It's full gameplay anyway. It's the entire game, but there's some parts in it where I had to pause. I had to go do something and come back. So I was trying to cut that out. I'm going to see if I can upload it, if I can edit and upload it again. If not, then I'll just upload the raw footage. But boy, you're gonna enjoy it. You're going to enjoy it. That's all I'm gonna say. Vista Light says to get more capital. But okay, of course, getting more capital. But what I'm saying is, what are you guys' plans? What positions are you looking for after that? If the Steelers trade out of the 21st pick, are you at a point? Do you believe that they still draft a quarterback in this draft? If they do, who are you cool with? I like to ask us these questions, guys, because Steeler Nation really doesn't. We're real finicky and picky, right? We want everything to happen the way we want it, but then if the one thing doesn't happen, we're upset. If the other thing happens, we're upset. Like I've been telling you guys, the truth of the matter is, man, the Pittsburgh Steelers are in a tight, tough spot. We have no quarterback, right? And that's not a disrespect to Mason Rudolph. But if we're going to go with Mason Rudolph, then it sounds like that you guys are okay with us basically finishing the same way we did last year, or worse possibly, or a tad bit better. If you're willing to do that, then you're saying that you're banking on getting a quarterback next year. However, Kenyon had a great point on Tuesday. What if some of these quarterbacks don't come out? What if some of these quarterbacks decide, look, I don't have to come out this season. It's not shaping up the way I wanted. I didn't have the season I wanted. I'm getting NIL. You can never bank on next year. That will always be my approach. And sorry that I keep looking down, guys. I'm just posting the link to the stream here out to some Facebook groups. Just try viewership up, man. What you gonna do? You gonna blame me for that? But you guys have to consider that. Next year is not a guarantee. We always say that, oh, wait till next year, wait till next year. I'm cool with that, but it's not a guarantee. We have no way to know what quarterback we would be able to get. Hold on. Okay. Mason Graham. Okay. Shout outs to Mason Graham. He's a prospect. He's basically projected as the best defensive lineman out of Michigan. Okay. So Cleveland Browns has gone with the D tackle. So there you have it, guys. Shedeur Sanders is still sitting there. Jackson Dart still sitting there. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens at 9. What are the New England Saints going to do? And the reason why I keep mentioning these quarterbacks, guys, is because, again, our Pittsburgh Steelers are in need of a quarterback. I happen to believe that they are going to draft a quarterback. The only thing that I don't know is what round. I just don't know who it's going to be in what round. But I will say this until I'm blue in the face. You have to keep shooting until you hit the target. You must shoot until you hit the target. It will not piss me off one bit if the Steelers hold tight at 21 and they take a shot on one of these quarterbacks. It's not going to piss me off. I would have been a little more pissed off if they moved up and they took a reach. But at this point, I don't care what happens. Hold on, guys. Okay. I think I got Kenyon in here now. Hold on. All right, there we go. I think I got Kenyon in here now, guys. Hello. Nope, I can't hear you. I don't know why. But we're gonna hold you here. It's gonna work out. It's gonna work out. But yeah, guys, I see some of y'all saying, "Hi, Kenyon." Hello, Kenyon. Yeah, Kenyon will be able to respond to you guys very shortly. Hopefully, just having some audio issues. But like I said, man, and thanks, Mark, for saying preach, Sim. Guys, you can never wait. That's just my opinion. You can't necessarily wait. I'll say this: the preference is to wait. So I think some of you guys misconstrue my enthusiasm, if you will, for a quarterback. It's not that. I have no problem with the idea of waiting. Oh, I just heard you.
All right.
There we go. I told y'all, man. Listen, let me tell y'all something. This brother's an Aries. me tell you something. We're gonna figure it out.
That's right.
We're gonna figure it out.
Or die trying.
Yeah, man. 50 Cent stole that from us, man.
Exactly.
Or die trying. We gonna work it out. But all I was saying, Kenya, man, I mean, you know this. I fully agree with the plan. I agree with what everybody's saying. I agree, of course, with what Kenyon is saying, and not just because that's my guy. It makes sense. It's preferred that we wait till 2026. All I'm always saying is you just never know. So I'm not opposed to keep shooting until you hit the target, man. Because some of y'all might disagree, but I'm sorry to inform you that our Pittsburgh Steelers are at that point, like other franchises, where we just got to keep trying to find a guy. Whether that's this year and next, or this year, or... So I'm not opposed to them taking somebody and then trying again next year. I mean, what does it hurt? Unless, let me qualify my statement and let me counter my own point. Unless somebody at 21 is undeniable, where it's like, hey man, you can't pass on him. And then we'll take a shot later in the draft. And I mean, worst case scenario, we walk out of here with a Will Howard or a Ryan, I haven't watched much of Leonard, but one of them, or Tyler Shuck, and then you say, or McCord, right? Nobody's really pom-pomming that, but then you say, all right, we'll take a shot at one of these lower tier guys, and then we're going to shoot again next year. I'm cool with that. But I'm just saying, we have seen these Pittsburgh Steelers do this before. Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, weak draft class. They had no quarterback.
Alert. Raiders select Ashton Jeanty.
All right. Here we go. And look, my phone is a tad bit behind, but I'm cool. Ashton Jeanty. No surprise there.
Nope.
No surprise. No surprise. That's all I'm going to say. It's funny, man. I'm starting to really like, and I'm about to let Kenya get some words, and I know I'm just talking here. I'm starting to like Peter Schrager a lot more. I've always kind of liked his coverage. I got a little more familiar with him. I knew who he was before. What was the show? Good Morning Football. But that's kind of where I, really honed in on him. But man, listening to this dude the last couple days, of course, I rock with Shefty and Rappaport, but kind of listening to Schrager's kind of made me feel kind of like I think he know what he's talking about, saying that, listen, man, I'm on the phone and I'm texting GMs all day, every day, and they're giving me a sense of what's happening. And he kind of have laid out what has happened so far. He said something is going to happen at 2 or 3. Boom. Travis. He also said he felt like the Raiders would probably take Jeanty. He did not expect more than 2.5 quarterbacks to go in the first round. And he said that, and I mean, we all could say this, but he also said, yo, don't sleep on the Giants not taking the quarterback. And he was big on saying they're going to take Abdul Carter. Some people might say, oh, that's not a big of a, prediction. But a lot of people thought they were going quarterback because they did all of that due diligence with Shador and others. I'm just saying, man, it feels like what he said, a lot of people think Shador is going to be sitting there at 21. And I'm curious to know if the Steelers are going to do it. I don't know. But what you think, Kenyon, man, based off of, because Kenyon is good with predicting a lot of these things based off of the moves. Seeing Jacksonville do what they did, what would be your best guess or bold prediction maybe for the rest of the first round? Like any other shakeups or?
I mean, Cleveland trading down and getting that extra first round pick for next year basically just tells me that the Steelers and the Browns will be in quarterback hunt mode in 26. Cleveland, that's a nice haul to move 2 spots down, 3 spots down. That's a nice haul. And you get Mason Graham to pair him with you know, your defensive player of the year, put them together. I said I like what they're doing. They're kind of building the trenches. I don't even like, I don't like Cleveland. So, but I'm not mad at that move because they basically run a 4-3 defense. So Mason's perfect for that. He can't play in 3-4.
Right.
Even though we don't really play 3-4 anymore. But as far as, like you said, the Giants move was not surprising unless Cleveland would have kept their pick. I would thought they would have took Abdul Carter to pair with, to do that, to have the double pass rushes.
That would have been nasty.
That would have been nasty. I think that as far as the rest of the round, there might be another move coming because I think teams with that move, teams will try to make other moves, especially if running back or they're looking at a O-line or D-line go off the board quickly, but running back may go off the board. But as far as us goes, I'll be honest with you, I kind of don't know. I think my mind's telling me defensive tackle.
Like Harmon or one of them dudes?
Yeah, my mind's telling me that I'm not one of those people that say, well, I want this guy, because it usually never works out that way. So I just try to not do that. But it might be Harmon. I mean, I think, I'm still not ruling out to trade down because you don't know how the rest of this board's going to fall. You could trade down and acquire some more picks, acquire some more capital. I'm with that. I think that's a great scenario, especially with the way this draft is. I mean, this draft is deep, but it's not really top heavy. So once you get past certain people, it's different then, and it becomes a need draft for certain people, for certain teams, I should say. So I would look at it like, depending. I mean, you start getting the picture when you get around like 11, 12, because you start seeing what teams are starting to do. But Shedeur, in recent reports, has been teams like Dart better than Shedeur.
Yeah.
I like Dart too, man. I mean, I know you like Dart.
Like him.
If Dart goes to the, I don't know if Dart makes it past the Saints, because of the Carr situation. Carr probably won't play next year, so you're going to need, another quarterback in there. As far as Shedeur goes, he might fall. I think he is probably going to fall now because of the way the draft has already played out. Because the spots were really the Giants, Cleveland, and they, Cleveland might trade back into the round and try to get Shedeur.
Yeah.
That's not out of the realm of possibility. I don't have a great feeling on us drafting the quarterback at 21, even if it's Shedeur. I know people have been talking about it, but as you said, it's kind of what we talked about. I just don't see the fit. I don't see how it fits, how it works.
I don't see it.
But if they do that, it's I guess it would be bold. But as articles have been coming out, you saw what Merrill Hodge said about it, and and I'm like you. I'm rooting for him. I want him to win. But it's just our system, our division.
Yeah, I don't see it.
It's just like, why would you put him in that situation? Because I don't care what kind of weapons we have. It doesn't matter, because some of his tendencies, you can't fix that in a year. That's going to take you 2 years. The holding on to the rock, like that type of stuff, because that's an instinct play. So, what I mean? Your instinct's telling you to hold on to the rock. And I don't care how accurate you are. If you hold on to the rock in the NFL like that, you almost got to be mobile now. So if I was Pittsburgh, I'd probably stack up on the trenches, see what I can get with take a shot at the quarterback later. I don't know if Tyler Shutt is going to be there. I don't know if, as you said, as we talked about this. To me, the only clear shots you can take is Merrill, just to see because of the upside. And just hope for next year to see what that draft class will shake out to be. Because as I said, there will be quarterbacks that stay in school next year because of that bag. That bag has changed the whole NFL draft. I'm just telling you, it's going to be dudes that don't come out.
Yeah.
That you think should have came out. So, the Jets are up now. Let's see who they pick.
Especially if the QBs have a down year. Like. Why, if you're already getting NIL money You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Real quick, man. Oh, hold on. We'll let Goodell read this off real quick. And then okay, I'm on Minboo. Okay.
Okay, I'm with that.
They definitely need to get that old line together.
Yep, that helps.
Let's give a round of applause and appreciation to the Wonder Bread, to Daron. I appreciate it, man. He says, let's trade down to the 29th. He says to the 29th or to the 32nd and get Jalen. He said, I want Thomas in the third wide receiver out of Tennessee. Okay. What Jalen are you referring to? I don't know. Is that the tight end or is it another Jalen? There's another Jalen kid, I think.
Yeah, Mr. Jalen.
I just don't know which guy you're talking about because I haven't been able to identify the Jalen by first name being the surefire guy that you're talking about. So if you could just confirm. My interesting question would be if we trade back, I'm wondering who trades up and what they're trying to get. Are they trying to get in front of us to take a QB? Do they think that's the spot to take them? Or is there another player that they feel like, okay, we talked to Pittsburgh not pulling the trigger on a QB. They're willing to take more, get more trades. We want to go to 21 and get this guy. Who is that? Is it a corner? Is it, I wonder I wonder what teams want to get to 21.
Kansas City. Maybe.
And what they need, what would they be looking for?
Kansas City will always, I think defensive line is something that you can address.
Yeah.
For Kansas City. I think Houston may want to trade up. I think even though they made a trade, that means they might be open for business to make another move. I think teams might want to trade up to try to get ahead of Denver, because now that Genty went, in my mind, I'm thinking if the next running back to fall would be Hampton, now I might go to Denver because Denver wants a running back.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at it just from the rest of the round, I would look at it like that. But teams might try to get ahead of Denver because they might covet, somebody like a Walter Nolan who may fall in some people's minds.
Nolan, yeah.
Something like that. Kenneth Grant, our guy that we just talked about. They may want him. So you never know. Harmon might be on their clock. So I know some teams don't like Harmon. So I think he kind of looks like a Pittsburgh fit. Yeah, I think running back. No, don't be surprised. The Ohio State running back one or both of them might sneak in. A lot of teams like those kids, man. So
I like Henderson a lot.
Yeah, it's just they like them. So I would just the draft is that trade kind of changed the trajectory of this round, I think, because now you're going to see different teams wanting different things. And as we talked about, it's not really a top-heavy draft, so you can kind of get certain things. So if we trade down, I don't know much we lose unless somebody really wants Hampton and we can't get him if we trade down 3 spots, 4 spots, something like that. But to me, is there a player at 21 that you wouldn't want to give your pickup for? That's left.
That's true.
Or could you trade down and get what you want to get? Because if we're trying to build, let's build. The model is in front of you. Let's do like Philly. Acquire picks, acquire talent, do it that way, and build your roster up that way. And then, next year, depending on who comes out, and you can take a shot at quarterback this year, you can take a shot at quarterback next year. But next year you have the capital because we'll have those extra picks. We'll probably have 11 picks.
Yeah.
Depending on what happens. So you have to, it's a big picture thing. It's not a want thing this year. It's not like last year. It's not like we kind of have a feeling, okay, they might go there, they might go there. This year I'm like, you never know, because they might just say trenches. They might go, you just don't know. So they might go corner. They feel like there's a corner there. They might go, you never know. You know what I'm saying? So this year to me, I want to see how Omar works. This to me, this is gonna be very interesting to watch this draft how it plays out.
Yeah. And I wonder if they trade back. Are we trading back to acquire a second or acquire later round picks? And that's kind of where I'm stuck, because I would hope you try to get a second round pick, or you swap first, get a second. But that's why I was wondering, well, who's the player that another team will think is worth going to 21 and giving up their second round pick?
Yeah.
So
I think the Chargers are behind us, right? Or are they ahead of us?
They lost in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, where the Chargers? Where the Chargers at?
Trying to remember. Hold on, I actually have it. They might be after.
I mean, another thing about that is that the Chargers. Another thing about it is that, you know, we have a second round pick. I think people
they right after
us.
That. They 22nd.
That's they might want to do that. They might covet, because Harbaugh would take Kenneth Grant, because that's the player you recruited. You know what I mean? Like, he would take Kenneth Grant. He'd plug him right. You know what I'm saying? He'll use him. So that was kind of like that trade was very interesting, because it kind of changed the trajectory of the way it could be. But the Panthers are up, so and there was speculation that they were going to trade down.
Let's see what happens. Round of applause, man, to Maestro Fresh. Appreciate the Wonder Bread. He says, a very exciting time for us. It is exciting. Uh-oh, hold on.
Okay. From LA.
Whoa, okay. All right. Big body guy.
Two guys from the same high school went in the top 8. Mason Graham and McMillan played on the same team in Orange County out here, and they won a championship together. Yeah, they were on the same team.
This might be the type of dude that maybe he helps Bryce Young.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
Catch radius and things like that.
Yep. That's what Bryce needs, one of those guys. You know what I mean? He needs somebody like that. He needs somebody like this. Yeah. People thought he was going to drop.
Yeah, they did. I wouldn't have called them going to the Panthers, but
me either.
At the same time, I didn't know where the Panthers was going, you know? So, okay. Interesting.
It is, yeah. But I agree with you. He could help Bryce. Yeah. I mean, you kind of got to acquire talent now for Bryce. You know what I mean? It's really about, you know what I mean, putting weapons around him. And, I mean, you know that, Sim, you get a 6'4" receiver that can beat you downfield and kind of moss you in certain situations. Yeah. I mean, that's only going to help Bryce.
It's hard to combat that, man.
Yeah,
we got Wonder Bread again. The infamous Tim. Round of applause. I appreciate the Wonder Bread, sir. He said this pick will incite the third great civil war in Steelers Nation. I'll stand on it this hill. You can't win a Super Bowl with Sanders. I'll take Milroe. You know what? You're not gonna get a debate from me on the Milroe point.
Me either.
I think when I said it before, you know, when I did the independent show about it, everybody had the same. Kenyon and I both felt the same way too. Then, like, look, if you know the way the draft is going, you don't have to reach and get him in 21. But I'm not opposed to. It goes back to what we just said. I'm not opposed to taking a shot on a guy like that, see what you could get, see who he is, and still draft next year. The only question mark is 21. Like, I can understand most people saying, man, is he worth a first round pick? But I cannot turn a blind eye to what if he turns into just what if? you cannot replace. We talking about you can't replace a 6'4" big body receiver, dog. You definitely can't. There is no replacing 4.37 at quarterback that we've seen. We've seen this dude run 60+ yard touchdowns. It ain't like it's a myth.
Yeah.
So just imagine if you could imagine this. Imagine you can get Justin Fields' gameplay from him now with the hopes of him improving. Just imagine if he could play at Justin Fields' level that what we saw, even 4-2. You saying you wouldn't take that as a chance? Now, he has accuracy issues. We all know that. But when he's accurate, but he's inaccurate a lot. He's up and down. It was weird watching his tape, man, because when I went and watched the 4 games, I looked at the schedule and I looked at the scores. What happened here? Like, how did he look so good against Georgia? I mean, he torched Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like he fell off a cliff in some of those other games that I watched. I'm like, whoa. So the talent is there, because that's where I would always challenge people when we just as general fans want to say, oh, this guy sucks. You couldn't suck against Georgia.
Right.
He had a game. So the talent is there. It's a matter of, can this guy be a consistent, steady Eddie type of quarterback? Nobody knows. But you can't question his talent. You clearly saw it. But
in that game. I mean, the game he showcased a lot, but the problem is it's consistency, and it's can he become a consistent quarterback? And no quarterback walks into the league really with consistency in the beginning. It just doesn't happen.
Right.
His mechanics, the things that he has, can you work them and coach him up to a certain point where he becomes a good quarterback? And Arthur Smith can coach quarterbacks. He can do it. And if you really want to be honest, he had Justin Fields looking nice in the system. And they really didn't let him cut loose with Justin Fields. Remember? They really wasn't letting him. That was Tomlin not really letting him cut loose. So I don't know if I have that same, you know what I mean? The way I look at it is, maybe you should take a shot. As a runner, he's already better than most of the you know what I mean? Most of the other quarterbacks in the league. He's already top 3 walking into the league. Walking in.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not Vic, but he reminds you. He does things that you say to yourself, "Hey man, that's kind of like Vic, like you know what I mean, like the run away from DBs type stuff. That's like some Vic stuff, you know what I mean." So, the Saints take Kelvin Banks, so that's one quarterback spot.
Wow, offensive tackle.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, somebody just asked, shout outs Infamous Tim for some more Wonder Bread. Thank you so much. He says, who do you guys want at 21 within reason? I got to be honest and say, I have no idea, man. This might be a first where I don't know, because it's weird, man, because I know in my heart, I feel like we do need a quarterback. I just don't know if we need or have to do it at 21. And then if we don't do it, I don't know who the player is that's going to be at 21 that's making me pound the table like, oh, we must take this guy. I don't know. I don't.
And the better question is, if my choice is between Sanders, this is hypothetical, Sanders, Dart, and Hampton, I'm taking Hampton. I'm just telling y'all what I'm doing. I'm taking the defensive line.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, it is what it is. I'm taking it, you know what I mean? Because I'm trying to build the trenches. You know, and I'm not talking about the Ravens game. I'm just talking about the depth. You know what I mean? You gotta start doing that. It's real. So, yeah.
It might. The draft. I love it, man. It might. It's looking almost like I can foresee. I don't know, man, because what I'm gonna say is totally gonna counter what Kenya just said, and I'm not trying to do that. What I was gonna say is the way it's going, and they said, all week they've been saying the draft is gonna start at 9. What are the Saints gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
The way it's going, Sanders, Dart, whoever else you have in that cloth, some of you guys say Howard, then nobody, it doesn't look like any of them will be drafted until 21. So the question is, if the Steelers really say we're going to grab one of these guys, are they going to trade back, get a second round pick, take one of them in the second round? And if they do that, then Kenya's point is gone, because I don't think one of, the D tackle, who's the highest projected guy, one of those type guys might not be there when you pick in the second round. So it would make me feel like they say, okay, we don't have a first round grade on 3 or 4 of these quarterbacks. We'll take them in the second. Let's trade out, acquire some more picks or whatever. I really don't know what they're gonna do, man. I can't call it.
I meant to say not Hampton. I meant to say Harmon.
Harmon, yeah.
Makes sense. How about that?
The funny thing is, man, Kenyon said it perfect. He said, there's talent in this draft, but the draft isn't top heavy. Because if we get into running backs, there's several of these guys that I'm looking forward to seeing on the Steelers. I really love that, what's my boy name? That Caleb kid, Caleb John. Oh, yeah. Man. I like him.
Yeah.
I like him from, I think I told y'all this before. He's not the same player, so don't get it twisted. He gives me more of a Derrick Henry vibe in terms of big man that can run fast. Mm-hmm. Got some feet with him too, but man, I went back and watched this kid. That Giddens kid is special, man. I don't know if he's more special than some of the other backs that I like, but it was just a couple intangibles I saw from him that I was like, oh, I didn't realize he had that. However, it was against Colorado, one of his bigger games. So it's like, I like Henderson. Henderson is like probably tops on my list as far as if we could grab one of the running backs that I think is, mind you, that I think is going to be there when we pick, not at 21. I think that the Hamptons and like some of those dudes are probably going to get picked before, like they're going to go in the second, if not the first, so we won't get them. So I'm talking about those guys that might be around still. It's deep. It's a deep class. So I like Henderson a lot. I like Giddens. I love Johnson. But we'll see.
I love Johnson, but I love Tootin too.
Oh, late. Yeah. How can I forget my man Tootin? I even played with him on college football.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tootin nasty. Tootin is nasty.
Because he's a home run hitter. I like the Tennessee kid. I think he's good too. I like of course, I feel about Giddens. We watched Giddens together. We were watching the game together, so we already know what's up with him. I like the Ohio State backs. I don't know if the Steelers like them like that. And I don't know if they really think the Bears just picked Colston Loveland from Michigan, the tight end. So that's the first tight end off the board.
So he went before Warren. Okay. They was kind of expecting. Some people were mocking that, saying he might go before. Yo, who's the Bears running back? Who is it? I'm trying to remember.
I do not know. That's a great question.
I don't know either. Somebody help us out. Who was the Bears starting running back? What's up, Darren? I have answered this before on previous shows. I don't expect you guys to watch every show. I'm just saying that in theory. I'm not big on Scatterboo, man. Not at all. Oh, Swift.
Oh, okay. But they run a two-back system though, right? They got two backs.
It's
They
another
kind of
dude.
split time.
Swift
Yeah,
ain't
they
the guy
split.
I'm thinking. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
somebody else. Yeah, but I don't think whoever they have doesn't put them in a place where they won't draft a running back.
Right.
So I guess what I was saying is, I'm maybe a little bit surprised that they went with the tight end, but I don't know the Bears system to be fair. I don't know if they run a lot of two tight ends. I know Komet started heating up late.
But they have the Lions coach now, so they're going to run two tight ends. See that Lions coach. Remember he designed that offense. So that Lions coach that they got, they run that power. They run that power two tight end.
That's
right. You know what I mean? They run that big personnel. That's what they want. The Bears want to do that. And that also helps Caleb because now Caleb doesn't have, you know what I mean? He has to run around and all that stuff. You can just, you know what I mean? You can kind of. I actually like that pick for them. And if you're comparing him to Warren, Loveland is the better blocker.
Yeah.
So you would take Loveland over, you know what I'm saying? Warren might be the better dynamic player, but Loveland is the more consistent guy coming off an injury.
Yeah. I totally forgot about that.
So in a lot of ways, I kind of like that pick.
I forgot about the coaching change. I totally forgot about that. Yeah. Okay. Yep. You're right. Yeah. Detroit gonna try to run the ball down your throat.
Chicago getting back. They're going back to the old school. They're trying to go old school on you. Yeah. Kind of like what we should be doing.
But yeah, guys, I don't. Scatterboo don't. He don't do it for me like that. And
he has game speed. He has game speed. You know what hurts Scatterboo? It's not even his play. He's a monster. He's a beast. If you watch his games, you can't deny it. He single-handedly won a college playoff game. He did. He won the game. You couldn't tackle him. The problem is he didn't run at his pro day. He didn't run when he ran his pro day. It was late, so he ran like a 4.6, 4.7. You know what I mean? People thought he was slow, but I don't get caught up in 40 times because there's game speed and there's track speed. You training for a 40, trying to impress people. Has nothing to do with your football speed because Derrick Henry ran a 4.6 something at the combine for his 40, and you watch him on the game, and you see him running away from people, and that's all that matters in that situation. Some people's speed translates both ways, or it's like, and Sim knows this term, how you run with pads on, because it's two different things.
Yeah,
running free and running with the pads on, that's two different things. So I think that Scatterboo, look. Let's be from a running standpoint, he looked like a Steeler. The problem is that Jaylen Warren does the same thing that Scatterboo does, and he's a little bit faster. So if you're going to get another back to pair with him, you either get a guy that's a home run hitter, that's kind of thick, or you get somebody like a zone running back, as Sim has been talking about, and that's Johnson. Johnson is great in that zone that Arthur Smith likes to run, and he's a big back. Now, I don't know if he doesn't run like Warren does, where he's trying to attack you. But I don't know if you need two backs like that because we do have Gainwell. Remember, he's there. Yeah. So, and he's a speed guy, third down speed guy. So, they're going to get it back. Of the backs that Sim like, we kind of like the same backs. I just love Tootin. I think Tootin
got that.
I like Tootin late. Yeah. I like Tootin late. Yeah. And I like Johnson too. Don't get it wrong. If you draft him, I'm happy because he's basically like a Derrick Henry clone. Not as fast, but he has great feet. He has good vision. He makes good decisions. He's also young. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I'm glad Kenya jogged my memory there. That was exactly what I said about Scatterboo the first time I talked about him. I said he kind of Jaylen Warren at. So it was kind of like, I don't know if you need two guys in the same vein. So, yeah, that's and again, let me throw out the narrative right now because people always blame me for this, especially when we talk about the head coach. It's not because he's white.
Oh my God.
That's what y'all accuse me of. Because I love Christian McCaffrey, okay? Outstanding. But that's what they tell me, Kenyon. They say that's the only reason why, oh, you always root for. No, I don't see that when it comes to sports. But if we being honest, is some positions we don't see a whole lot of black guys or white guys or Asian guy or whatever. Come on. So y'all kill me when y'all do that. Oh, he probably don't, because y'all said that to me the last time. He don't want no. He just don't want the running back because it's a white guy. What are we talking
Look,
about?
man. I don't want to say nothing, man. I'm trying to be cool. I was trying to have a good day today. But look, man, it's amazing. It's 2025.
It's crazy, bro.
When I was a kid, I used to hear stories about races. I just saw Sinners, which addresses this. No spoilers. I just find it interesting that as a race, since we all, if you all believe, if you're atheist, if you're Christian, if whatever you are, you believe in God, whatever God you believe in, cool. I always find it interesting that, so if God put us here, why would he want us to fight and be separate? You have to ask yourself that question. It's a simple question.
Yeah.
Racism will be the downfall of the human race. Forget all the other stuff. The human race, we all gonna be gone. And wondering how you got here. It's because of the hatred and the racism that people carry from tribe to tribe. Because of the atrocities that happen to black people, that happen to white people, that happen to all kinds of people. Those things are the core. Because racism is learned. Because all you gotta do is watch kids. Babies do not care what color you are. They go play with who they like, whatever they attracted to.
Yep.
It's when they get older, they get that something in their ear, you know what I mean? Don't go over there. Don't talk to him. The downfall of society.
Oh,
just saying.
Hold on. My bad, Kenyon. I didn't mean to I didn't mean to cut you short, but I didn't even see Debbie in there. We got Debbie in the building.
Right.
Man. See, that's what I get for using overlaying, and I wasn't even watching this screen. Well, what's going on, Debbie? How you doing so far tonight?
I'm fine. I'm just trying to basically catch up with everything now.
Uh-oh. Who does San Francisco take? Oh, he reading it. Hold on.
Yeah. Michael Williams, safety, Georgia.
Aha. Okay.
That kid is good, man.
Okay.
That kid is good. Also, as you said, Sim, that's the kid that Milroe ran past in the Georgia game.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just put that up. You ran right past him a couple of times.
Dog, I'm going to tell you, listen, call me naive or whatever y'all want to call it. That Georgia game, I've never watched had a film study like I had with Milroe. Because like I told y'all, I don't watch a bunch of Alabama games. Right. I watched the Georgia game first, and I could bring my wife in here and say, tell them what I was saying when I was looking at her like, why are people so down on this kid? He blew my mind in that game. Then I watched 3 more games. I was like, oh, okay. Now I see. But that Georgia game alone, it makes me believe that this guy could be something. He could be something. And I didn't realize that he was as big as he is. Like, I'm not going to be mad. I'm going to scratch my head a bit if they do it at 21. But if he ends up in Pittsburgh, I'm not going to be mad at all.
Yeah, me neither.
But yeah, Debbie, we ain't much has happened yet. I mean, we sitting here. There's a couple. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a couple shakeups. Travis Hunter went to the Jaguars. Cleveland traded up. Cleveland went back to the 5th pick, and they grabbed the Graham kid, I think.
Yeah, they got Mason Graham,
defensive lineman.
Yeah.
No quarterback other than Cam Ward has gone yet.
I knew he was going to be gone, but I don't like that it's at Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland was – I never thought Cleveland was going to get a quarterback. I don't think they wanted Hunter because of since they were in such a rebuilding stage, they probably were trying to help. They're trying to help Myles Garrett. So to me, it was really two ways. They either go edge rusher with Abdul Carter, stay at 2, or you trade down. The trade. Look, what Cleveland did was smart because they got a first round pick for next year. That's smart.
Super.
So that helps them. So even if they don't get a quarterback this year, which I think they pick at 33, so they can still get a quarterback. They can do that. So that's a smart. What they did that's good business because that helps them in the long run if they're really in a rebuild because that's what they are. If you're thinking even if you draft a quarterback, it's more than likely Kenny Pickett or Joe Flacco would be the leader in the barn. You know what I mean? Would be the leader in training camp. So that. Cleveland is in a rebuild stage, and it doesn't preclude them from next year going for a quarterback in 26 because of the draft capital that they just acquired. It's just smart. It's kind of something, Simba knows this. You would probably do that on Madden and try to, you're trying to win. That helps you out for your future if you playing franchise mode. You know what I mean? Having those picks, you can just trade up. So I like what they did. And then I think Abdul Carter goes to the Giants. And that helps them out to pair him up with their first round pick from last year. So now they got 2 edges. And then, it did change the draft though. To me, it's changed the draft. You see how people are falling, but
Cowboys took a guard, Tyler Booker.
That's smart. Well, they lost. Didn't somebody retire? Right? They lost their guard. They retired.
Yeah. Which one was it?
He retired. He retired. Yeah.
Dang, I forget which one it was, but yeah, one of those dudes retired. Man, I'm looking at Jacksonville's. Let me see.
Roster?
Yeah, I'm looking at their roster, and I'm trying to decide if ESPN put Travis on there already. Travis, hey man, he might. He's
the best player to draft, man. Let's be honest. He's the best player to draft.
He might have a chance to play both ways. I'm just looking at their roster.
I think they're gonna do it.
Because who
I
else?
Don't think it's not gonna be like Colorado though. No, he's not gonna play 100. He's not gonna play 120 snaps. He's not doing all that. He's gonna be like, you know what I mean? Sometimes they put him at corner. Sometimes they put him at wide receiver. And let's be honest, he's equally good at both, which is it's really unprecedented. You start thinking about it. I mean. It's unprecedented. He's an elite talent.
Oh, that's right. They got Brian Thomas Jr. But just looking at their receivers, there's nobody that could absolutely keep him off the field. I mean, they got my boy De'Ami Brown, but I mean, he not keeping Travis from playing. He might have a chance, man.
So they have Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter, De'Ami Brown,
Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis from Buffalo, right? He's the big receiver, right?
Yeah. The rest of these dudes, no disrespect, I don't even know them. Just looking at their names, I have no idea who they are. So, Cephas, Joshua Cephas, I know him. But
Travis gonna get on the field early on offense.
I didn't want him in Cleveland. I'm gonna just be 100% with y'all. I didn't want Travis Hunter going to Cleveland, man.
Yeah, I didn't want to deal with that dude.
I didn't want that because I want to root for him.
Yeah,
I want to root for him and Shador. So I don't want them in the AFC North unless they playing for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, man, I'm going to ask you and Debbie the same question. I saw somebody in the chat earlier saying, if we trade back, they were saying, hey, why not, why would you make Kansas City better? And, I wouldn't want to trade to no AFC team. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. Guys, this is the NFL, man. It happens all the time. I don't think GMs are sitting around trying to avoid the team. I could get division, but they go with the best business decision. That nobody's scared to, if we give you this, it makes you better. Nobody's thinking like that because if you are, that's the wrong business to be in. Even as a fan, if I'm sitting here saying, nah, we can't be a trade partner with Kansas, dog. If I'm being a fan scared like that, come on, man. Like we got to stop that. I can understand division, like Philly being able to sign Saquon, but other than that, you can't be afraid to do business with any team to try to protect your team. Like, no. What y'all think about that? Go ahead, Debbie. Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, it's the NFL. So any team, any year could be a problem. So, and I have no problems with trading back. That's always my big thing. I have concerns trading up, but I have none trading back because I'd rather have all that capital to build my team since I like the philosophy of building through the draft. So if I have to go back to get, the the pieces I need to eventually get me a Super Bowl, then that's what I'm going to do. I don't care who's back there. The division teams can be back there.
Yeah, I don't care. Like I'm like people saying that it's like I don't care. Like you can't worry about I don't want to help them. What do you mean? If it helps you in the long run, it's irrelevant. Like what do you mean? If you don't trade with them, who are you going to trade with? Just NFC teams? What if they don't have? What if they don't have the capital? What if they don't have what you want? Oh, I'm gonna stay put. No, man, you're trying to make the best deal you can to build your squad. So if it's the Ravens, if it's the Browns, if it's the Bengals, if it's Kansas City, if it's the Raiders, I don't give two. I don't care. And I stop myself. So I'm just saying, like, I just want to get the team better. If we can get a deal done, that doesn't make any sense. We traded Martavis Bryant to the Raiders. You know what I mean, to get capital. You know what I mean? Like, what do you? I mean, they're like our most hated. And AB. So what are you saying? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I'm trying to get better. We're in a stage where we need to improve our roster in certain positions and try to add depth. And if I can do that, great. If it's through Kansas City, fine. If they feel like they're missing a piece, cool. It doesn't matter to me because you don't know how the picks are going to play out when you draft. That is the one thing people keep forgetting. They always talk about draft this dude. You don't know if he's going to help you. And I'll give you an example. The Rod Woodson draft, when he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do you know how many Hall of Famers in that draft, in that first round? You know how many people from that first round draft made it to the Hall of Fame? Y'all can answer?
I actually don't. I can't remember myself who else was in that draft.
One person made it.
Wow.
You know what that was? Rod Woodson. Everybody else that was picked ahead of Rod Woodson
Interesting.
did not matter to anything in the NFL. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know. It's a crapshoot. It's gambling. We going to Vegas. That's what we doing. It's a structured way to go to Vegas, but we are going to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? And we hoping that the slots is in our favor. And you know the slots is rigged. Once you start taking from the, from the pot, they're gonna make you lose or make you leave the city. So that's what I'm saying. So I don't care who it is. Help me get better.
Miami.
And but see, that's smart though.
Yeah.
That's smart. They needed that. They lost practically the whole defensive line.
You taking Grant over Harmon? That's interesting. See, I love seeing how the teams actually value these players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Damn.
Because most people had, well, I mean, you knew Graham was going, but most people had Harmon maybe the next.
Ahead of him.
Yeah, ahead of Grant. But see, this is why, again, I'm just guessing. I'm just speculating, but I'm going to call it an educated guess. This is the reason why teams do, pre-draft visits, pro day visits and all that. I think, you start learning the kid, the pedigree. And it's, man, shameless plug. It's not my plug, but I remember watching Nick Saban on the pivot. And he said something very interesting, man. He said, back in the days when it was him and Belichick and, they only drafted the players that they wanted. They didn't care where they was projected, none of that. If the guy didn't fit first of all, a certain physical criteria and then the mental side, they didn't waver. And I think that's what we forget sometimes, man, is these teams have a feel for who they want. Sometimes they miss, but maybe the Dolphins felt like Grant was the better kid. And this is what I'm saying at quarterback. I don't know if the Steelers jump out the window and maybe they really like Dart, Milroe, Sanders. I mean, any of them. Again, the Shador thing, I just don't see how he fits Pittsburgh's carrying scheme. My only beef with him. I don't have any real beef with any of these quarterbacks, man, because it's like Kenyon just said, it's always a crapshoot, but him specifically, I just don't see how he fits Pittsburgh's scheme. And I do not believe that Arthur Smith or Mike Tomlin and what's the dude's name? Arth.
Yeah.
I don't think they completely changed the scheme to match, so I don't know. I don't know, but
I mean,
looks like
you kind of would have to, and then you don't know. We still don't know what the Aaron Rodgers situation will be. So that's also another factor within this situation that you have to think about. Tyler Warren to the Colts. That's a good. That's a great pick.
Yeah. Okay. This board is going exactly as people expect, man. I mean, I'm no GM, but I'm just looking at these spots. I don't think we see any more trade ups. Well, hold on. Maybe. Hold on. Let me go back. Cleveland.
Green Bay.
Yeah. And Cleveland, maybe if Cleveland or the Giants or one of them really do want to come back in the first and they think the Steelers might be high on one of the QBs or the QB that they want, that could happen.
Yeah.
But 15 down to 21. I hate to say it because at least 3 of us was on this show in 2022 and the same scenario happened. Where there were some quarterbacks there that weren't the greatest projects, and it was like, which one are they going to take? We could be looking at the same situation again if the Steelers are taking a quarterback in the first round.
And let the record show that when we were on that show, I did not want a quarterback.
Nah, we were sick. I was sick because I was thinking, if you're going to take one, go with the upside. And hey, man, in fairness, the funniest thing is Brock Purdy has outperformed everybody. That is hilarious. The last pick of the draft, ladies and gentlemen, in case y'all don't remember that, the very last pick. And I've seen this narrative too. People were saying that it's too late now, but they were saying that the Niners were going to take Shador and trade Purdy to the Steelers. And I'm like, dog, do y'all think Brock Purdy would be that, like, again, not knocking him, but do you think he comes to our system and he's this? No.
Brock Purdy is a system quarterback. Like, this is the part I don't understand this part. Like, when people say, that's why I try not to respond, because it's like the 49ers run a specific system. They don't really need a top 5 quarterback for their system to work.
No.
They need a quarterback that can run their system, because the system is about their blocking schemes, Their running backs are dynamic usually. They have 2 wide receivers, and they use Debo as a running back in certain situations. They kind of run like a college offense in a lot of ways. It's a pro offense with college characteristics in a lot of ways. And Brock Purdy fit because he got the ball out quick and he's kind of throwing to a spot. He's not, in play action, they want to run the ball, control the clock. So Brock Purdy wouldn't fit in every system. Brock Purdy went to the right system. It's similar to Tom Brady. Like, that's why Tom Brady went where he went, because people didn't think he was great. But as you said, Bill Belichick saw in my system, it works. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on what system you're running, man. And Brock Purdy is perfect in a West Coast offense. Like Brock Purdy would be good in Houston. They run the same offense. CJ Stroud, Brock Purdy, they run the same offense. Same coach. It's the same coaches. You gotta remember. You know what I mean? He used to coach under Schottenheimer. Now he's in Houston. So sometimes there's system quarterbacks, and you have to fit a certain system. Lamar Jackson would have not fit in certain systems, but the Ravens changed their whole offense to tailor around Lamar Jackson, and then he grew in the system, and now you see the result of him growing in the system and progressing. You would have put him in a regular drop back pass, be Lamar, and throw the ball. He's been out the NFL.
Yeah.
Like the stuff you gotta like, you gotta understand what they're doing in certain situations.
Let me see. I'm gonna read a comment and see how we feel about it. Shout outs to Robert Tamburo, and apologies to anybody. I think I got them all so far, but if I missed the Wonder Bread, thank you. He says, number 1 quarterback, not added before draft is yet another. He says another on long line of reasons Art Rooney needs replaced by a different Rooney and take his BFF overrated mediocre Mike Clown with him, I guess he's saying. I'm not going to dive too much into that comment. I didn't know what it was. It was a longer comment the way I'm viewing it. That's why I read it. But and this ain't a disrespect to you at all, Robert, but I've just gotten to the point where I don't really reply or have banter to comments that we know ain't happening. That's all. Not disrespecting you in any way. I'm just saying, come on, man. I mean, what's the likelihood of any of that happening? So, but thank you for the comment, though. Let's see. It looks like Few Late Nights has a question for us, so I'll read that. He says, hey, Deb, Sim, and Kenyon, if they do decide to pick a quarterback like the same situation in 2022, who would y'all want to see go there? I'm gonna give. Well, no. Let me let Debbie go first. Let's let Debbie go first. Then y'all have heard what I've had to say. So, what you got, Debbie?
I answered in the chat. I'm not like too familiar with the quarterbacks, and I didn't look at them really this year. But what I said in the chat was, I don't want them to pick a quarterback at 21. But if they did, I hope it's they pick the best one that will fit in the offense that they're trying to run. Mm-hmm. No square pegs and round holes. That's what I said.
Okay. I ain't mad at that. And I think I'm gonna say, unfortunately, for those who don't want to hear this, but I think, unfortunately, folks, all I'm trying to get y'all to do is go back to last season and look at the offense that Arthur Smith put on display. If I had to say that they're going to take a quarterback that best, I'm going to use what Debs just said. I hate to inform you all, that's Jalen Milroe. I think Dart could pull it off. Kind of looking at some of the different stuff they ran. I mean, they didn't really run our offense, but I saw him in situations where I said, okay. I even saw Tyler Shuck do a little more under the center. But I would say Dart only because you could mix in a little bit of what he does and still run the ball. Because I think in Arthur Smith's offense, we want to run the ball, and I think we might want to include the QB in that.
Right.
Dart can do it. Milroe can absolutely do it. And like again, guys, like I said, it's not me with a bias or anything. I'm looking at what I saw on film, and I'm just going to name some personnels for y'all that the Steelers were very frequently running. 12, 13, 22. Just those three alone. See what I'm saying? Milroe probably fits that because of his ability to run. So that's all I got for y'all. I don't know if Kenny wants to add anything.
I don't because my thing is, can I justify picking him at 21? And that's really what it comes down to.
That's the only
question. It for me. The rest of the stuff it's a great question, but I really can't answer the question because of the other two quarterbacks. I wouldn't want to pick them at 21.
Nope.
So for me, it's more like that question for me would be like I'll trade back into the second round, try to get Milroe at like 33 or 32 or something, whatever.
Okay, Atlanta.
So that's what I would do. Atlanta takes Jalen Walker from Georgia. Good player.
That might be the Jalen. Was that the Jalen you were talking about, Deron, earlier? I don't know why I didn't remember that because I like Jalen Walker.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah.
Man, matter of fact, I'm gonna just be honest. I've liked Georgia. Yeah, they have a fan in me, man. Over the last several years, I don't know what they're doing down there, but they put out some outstanding prospects, especially on the defensive side.
They're recruiting in there over the last couple. I mean, that's why they won championships. Their recruiting was great over the last 8 years, 9 years. They kind of took over for Alabama. You think about it. Alabama fell off a little bit. Georgia took that spot in the SEC. They've done a good job with their pro prospects. I know Tomlin loves Georgia players. He loves SEC players in general because he loves. At the time, he thought that conference was the best conference. You know what I mean? As far as like winning chips, but that's kind of swung to the Big Ten because the Big Ten has won the last two national championships. So, and Sim knows that team out there down the street from my house is they coming back. So it's real. You got Aaron Donald at practice. They coming back. They coming back.
So, boy, Lord have mercy, man. I can't wait. I just want to see him in college. I'm not even gonna say wait till he come out. I want to see him play in college. Cause my God, just the intangibles that he's showing at that age is like, whoa. He's only gonna get better. Like that's one of them prospects that you could say he's only going to get better. Just off of his size, his techniques, and hand usage. I can't wait to see that kid play college, man. Yeah, no, this dude ain't even in college, y'all. He's high school.
I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go. Like I said to myself, I might not go to a lot this year, but I might have to go check him out at a game. I might have to go to his game, man. I might have to go to one of their games, man, because I need to see that again. I've seen him once. I gotta see him again. I agree. He's so different. He's such a freak that I don't know. Yeah, man. He's big as Aaron Donald now.
Yeah.
He's as big as him now. It's crazy. Tom is gonna be. Yeah, man. I agree.
So Mark Cunningham, he just gave me just reminded me of something because he spoke about the Eagles, and I want to pose it to you and Debs at the same time. I want to ask Kenyon a question before he answers the original question. All right, let me ask you this real quick, Kenyon, and I won't forget what I want you and Debs to answer. Are we misremembering Lamar's college career. And the reason why I'm saying that, I can't say I remember every snap and all of that, but I definitely remember that Lamar wasn't that accurate in college. He won't that accurate in the NFL. But let's just talk about Louisville. But are we misremembering that a bit, Kenyon? Because I see a lot of people say to me, just right here in the chat, somebody said, Milroe was nowhere near as good as Lamar was in college. Like, Lamar, it wasn't that. I don't think it was that far apart. Lamar probably was better, but y'all are saying that like Lamar was signed, sealed, and delivered coming out of college, and he wasn't. He had the same critiques from what I remember. I watched him. You know who really put me on to Lamar Jackson? Michael Vick. Michael Vick was the reason why I started watching him in Louisville, because he was talking highly of him. As I watched him, I'm like, ooh, man, he could be something, but he got to get that accuracy together. So I'm trying to wonder, and I'm going to ask Kenyon, because I know if anybody knows, Kenyon knows, because this is what he does. Are we misremembering his career in Louisville? Was he way better? Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Because he was good. He was great in college. He was good in college. He was inaccurate in college. And when people say Lamar was way better than him, Milroe was the better runner. If we just go in college, he's the better runner. I mean, he basically single-handedly destroyed Georgia running the ball.
Yeah,
he's better. He's better. Lamar has quicks. They both have aspects of Vic game, but they're just not Michael Vick. You understand what I'm saying? But Vic had accuracy problems at Virginia Tech. Lamar had accuracy issues at Louisville. Josh Allen, they said he was inaccurate in college at Wyoming.
Yeah.
Couldn't complete an out. See, that's the old school way, but those guys learned how to. I'll give you another one. Aaron Rodgers, when he was in college, they said he was inaccurate at times. Said you couldn't fix it. He got fixed. We saw what happened. You can fix those. Those are the things you can fix. But the Milroe Lamar thing is not as far apart as you think it is. Lamar was great in college, and he was in the running for the Heisman. I remember. I think he came in third when he did it. So he did great things in Louisville, but it's not as far as you think it is. And Milroe, actually, let's be honest, Milroe only had a quarterback coach 1 year because that Washington coach only had him 1 year, and that same Washington coach coached up Michael Penix. He is a quarterback guy, but he only had Milroe for 1 year. If he'd had him 2 years, it'd been great. Washington to the Cardinals.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yep.
And I saw somebody in the chat, shout outs to Jaywalk. He says he developed, though, talking about Lamar.
Yeah.
So my only question to us fans, why do we just know that Milroe can't develop? That's all. And I'm not trying to make a case for Milroe, y'all. I'm not. I promise you I'm not. But it like I said, Kenyon, I think maybe it's because I'm just becoming more mature as a fan. I don't know. I just don't know how we always know the certainty on any of these players. How? If Lamar could develop, if Josh Allen could develop, if you have to compare them to what we saw previously, not who they are now. Any of these quarterbacks could develop. Like, I'm going to use your own comment. He developed, though. Yeah, any of them could. So I feel you if you don't, there's certain prospects I don't like either. Like, again, I don't necessarily want them to take Milroe at 21.
Yeah.
But if they take him, they take him.
Yeah, I mean, you can only go with how the board is in. One other thing, you don't know who they have high on their board. That's also another thing because we're not in that room, so we don't know how they have people ranked as their top 21 prospects. And that's very important because they're going to a press conference and say, "Yeah, we had them higher on our board," and then we'll be looking at each other like, "Man, I didn't even see that coming." You know what I mean? But when you scout people, that's how it is. You have a certain player. You might have 3 players you have rated the same, and you know what I mean. If one of them falls to you, you take them. So I agree with Sim. You can develop. Quarterbacks can develop, man. It is what it is. Sometimes The reason why there are more projects now that you see coming into the NFL than you did in the past is because kids in college aren't practicing as much. They don't learn the systems that they're running are college systems, which are RPO systems, and that doesn't really account for the NFL. The NFL has kind of adapted the RPO system, but it's kind of a pro level. But you have to learn in that system, which is why you sometimes have to cater your offense around a certain player now, as opposed to he's kind of come in and learn each system. And to be honest with you guys, in this era, it takes time to do that. You're not walking in the NFL and just being great. You know, I love Patrick Mahomes, but he did sit his first year. Josh Allen wasn't great when he came in. Peyton Manning was horrible when he started.
Oh, yeah.
People remember that. You know what I mean? Troy Aikman was bad on Dallas. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this type of stuff, like, you want kids to come in, and then you'll say, well, C.J. Stroud was good. Yeah, he was good, and then he kind of fell off his second year. You know what I mean? Like, still, you don't, you know what I mean? You don't know how it's going to play out because you don't know what kind of weapons somebody has. You don't know if they're going to retain the information, if they're good leaders. Like, all these things are factors that I don't know if people look at. They're just looking at the prospect of what he could do. So I wouldn't take Miro at 21, but hey, man, if the Steelers do it, ooh, you know what I mean? It is what it is. You have to live with it. You know what I mean? I remember the Kenny Pickett day. I remember how people reacted to that.
Yeah.
But we get so agitated so quickly with prospects. Some of us Steelers fans, and you know, like Fairweathers and Steelers fans are different to me because they don't. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm always gonna look at the big picture. It is what it is. You know, to me, this is the 80s to me. This is what I'm living right now. I'm living the 80s in 2025 because after Ben, after Bradshaw, it's just it was just a rotating door of see who's gonna be quarterback until we got Ben. I had to wait till Ben. Think about that.
Good Lord.
I had to wait till Ben. I had Mark Malone at quarterback. I just want y'all to know that. I had Bobby Brister. That was my quarterback. I had Neil, got Larry Brown, paid O'Donnell.
Oh my God.
That was my quarterback.
Oh God.
So you know, I'm not gonna lose my mind like that. It's and I think the Steelers, what they're doing, and Philly should be your example to everybody. Because Jalen Hurts was not picked in the first 3 rounds. You know what I mean? He was a late round pick. And they just built the team around him.
Yeah. You
can have an average quarterback if the rest of your team is stacked. Philly just won a Super Bowl doing that. Dominated Kansas City. Dominated. Game was over at half. The best part of that Super Bowl was Kendrick. Let's keep it a buck.
Wait a minute. It's people saying some stuff in the chat here, man. I don't want to derail us, but who would? Yeah, they might be right, but I don't know. You know, somebody said we should have picked Marino, but I don't know if we can outright say that it would have changed much because it's not like Marino was on bad teams in Miami.
No, but here I know what they're saying. Chuck Noll wanted a defensive lineman because he wanted to replenish
what he had. Yeah.
What he had.
Yeah.
The smart pick now, the reason why it was a great argument is because Art Rooney Sr., who was his input was draft Dan Marino.
Yeah.
He's like, draft Dan Marino, we'll win Super Bowls and whatever. So Art Rooney Sr. was correct before he passed away. He knew what he was doing because Marino went to a team, but if he'd have stayed in Pittsburgh, even Marino has come out and said this, I would have won a couple of Super Bowls. I would have been in the Super Bowl a couple of times. Because they had a defense. They already had defense. You can always get, you know what I mean? You can't get that franchise guy who drops there. Yeah. You know what I mean? When they should have just picked him. That's a mistake. And to be honest with you, Ben Roethlisberger is supposed to be.
That was the reason why.
That was the reason why they got Ben. That's why they did that. Because if you think about the history, right?
He didn't relive that Marino non-pick.
That failure, yeah.
Yep. Now, the most overrated person in the draft just got picked. I just want y'all to know that.
Shamar Stewart. Okay? Wow.
He's overrated. Just want y'all to know that.
Uh-oh. First round edge.
Yep.
Yeah. Are they going to try to ship Hendrickson up out of there?
He won out.
Yeah. Wow.
He won out. His production doesn't match his tape.
So, the question that
So
I
yes.
had for
Kenyon,
So
Kenyon.
yeah.
I don't
No,
know
go
if
ahead, go ahead,
I
Deb.
don't know if you mentioned it, but when you were talking about the quarterbacks and how they come into the league and the teams have to kind of depend on what the team has around them, dictates how successful the quarterbacks are
Mhm.
for the most
Mhm.
part. But at the same time, you have these teams that, especially when they're sorry, they pick first. When they pick quarterbacks, the coaches are in a position that they have to do something now.
Right.
And a lot of times you have a rotating door of coaches and systems coming in where a lot of these guys don't even get the chance to be successful.
Yeah, because I think now I would say that's the difference between this era and the past era, where you can let a quarterback develop in a system.
Exactly. You can let them
And
sit
right,
behind
and you're right, and your rookie contract is not a factor in this scenario. I think organizations and coaches, organizations per se, don't have the same patience for a quarterback as opposed to. And the prime example would be Sam Darnold.
yeah,
Sam Darnold was the number one pick, and he hopped around teams. He was a backup in San Francisco. Finally, really gets the shot in Minnesota and flourishes. Now we'll see how that plays out when he goes in Seattle, if he flourishes in Seattle. But you know what I mean?
Jared
And
Goff. I'm
right, so
sticking
you know what I
to it.
mean? Where Jared Goff was good, and he took a team to a Super Bowl. That coach just didn't love him, and he didn't
That's
draft
what I'm
him, so
saying.
he
So
didn't
once
love
he
him.
started not playing well, he shipped them out.
They that's what I'm saying. So you don't have the same leeway. An example, you see with other positions, like we knew Najee was gone. Didn't matter if we liked Najee or not. We
Yeah.
knew Najee. I knew Najee was gone last year, like before the season. Like I said, oh yeah, he's not. You know, he won't be a Steeler. I just knew it. So it's that 4 year. It's that 4 year that rookie deal. If you're good enough, they'll re-sign you. If you're not, it's almost like you take him for 4 years, you replace him. You know what I mean? You try to get his replacement. So, but quarterback is the hardest position to get, and I agree with you. It's just hard to have patience on quarterbacks and let them develop. What the Ravens did with Lamar was so good. It was a risk, but it played out. Now it hasn't played out where they won a Super Bowl, so it's not totally. You know what I mean? You got to win it. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? If you get to that point, you got to win it. Because to me, they're like, no disrespect, I want to make Sam mad. To me, they're like the Philadelphia 76ers. Like they're good, but then they say trust the process. And you saw what the process did to the 76ers. They suck. You know what I'm saying? And it's because they thought that old boy was going to be there the whole time. And then they doubled down by trying to get Paul George. And I told y'all it wasn't going to work. But anyway, other than that, it's that's what I'm saying. So you got to have. I think it's just the window is shorter, Debs. You don't have the same pace. You know this. If you had a job, I don't know if the person gets the same leeway as they got before to develop, and or you see it in music a lot now. Like the example would be like Bruce Springsteen signed a record deal. He had a 10-album record deal. That was his deal back in the day. His first couple of albums, you don't remember them. But he developed as an artist. So by the time he got to his fifth, his sixth, and you get Born in the USA, it's on and cracking. He's a superstar. But he's been on your roster for 6 years. You know what I mean? Now you don't get that now.
At the same time, looking at the coaching part of it, there were people in those positions who were artist developers or artist development or whatever. Now,
and Sim it's gone. And Sim knows this. There is no artist development. There is no artist development. It's gone. They took it out. So once you take that out, because people was hustling by themselves. So you know what I mean. So when they were hustling by themselves, they didn't get the. It's kind of you needed the artist development part to become successful in a lot of ways because you have to learn how to media train, how to report yourself to people, how your image wants to be. Now you don't do that. So like when you have that, it's kind of like you don't want to date yourself, but it's why Motown was successful because they had every layer. You know what I mean? To build superstars, they covered every base, and it's never been replicated. You know what I mean? It's just never been replicated because you can't. Nobody's had a roster like that in the history of music. You know what I mean? Like you'll never see that again. You'll never see 10 artists, 15 artists all be. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna happen like that. So and you had Lil Mike. You had Lil Mike at 5 years old. Come on, man. That's you know what I mean? Like they was winning.
Seattle takes a guard or a tackle.
Doesn't that help them? Doesn't that help them?
Yeah. Boy, these quarterbacks is. Oh, I knew they won't go take one, but I'm just saying, just looking at the number pick that we at. Boy, this draft is slide.
But you know what? That trade flipped this draft, man.
Yeah,
It flipped the draft, bro.
it did. So Cleveland was never. Well, again, I don't want to say never. Well, what we're talking about right now, guys, we're just strictly talking first round. That clearly showed us that Cleveland won't take they was never taking a quarterback in the first. They won't.
But they got pick 30. They have pick 33.
Yeah. See, that's
the first
what
pick
I
in the
mean. They
second
can
round.
come right back and get any. Them boys, if they want one of them, they're going to be there. At least one of them. So
I agree.
Cleveland, they probably all along knew, nah, we're not taking nobody in the first round. Not at quarterback. Somebody said Shador might go to Denver. No, why?
Why would
they
the
take
Denver Broncos? Denver Broncos need a running back. Why would they take Shador Sanders to back up
Bo Nix,
a quarterback that Bo Nix, who if you want to have a real conversation, like if Bo Nix was in this draft, who are you taking, Shador or Bo Nix?
Yeah, like what? Funny thing is, not as an exact comparison, but in comparison to how they were talked about in the draft, Shador is kind of like Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Where the Broncos jumped, they went and took him. Nobody thought he was going that early, and they groomed him. He was a little shaky early. Good thing we got that Bo Nix. I'm gonna just say that.
Yeah,
good thing
we saw him early in the season. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, not the. I learned. I know the NFL now. Bo Nix.
Yeah, he turned out to be okay, man. And that's all you can ask from a rookie.
It goes to your point. You just made the point. You said it's what team likes you and fits in your system, and that coach loved Bo Nix because if they don't pick Bo Nix, he falls. But in that system, you know what I mean? He was like he looked at him like Drew Brees. Yeah, I can make him like a little Drew Brees. You know what I mean? And Bo Nix can run a little bit. I think that's the underrated part of his game, that he can run. He can scramble. So yeah, I agree.
I mean, I understand what some of you guys try to think, and don't take that terminology I use as a slight. But I see Brandon S. says Denver's quarterback room sucks. But look at what we are asking them to do. They took a first-round QB last year. That panned out for the most part. You can get free agents to back him up.
Yep.
So I don't think you spend another first-round pick. However, that's opposite of what I said for the Steelers. Steelers could actually be in a situation where they do that. They might pick somebody in the first round, don't quite pan out, then they come back and do it next year. But they, in theory, quote fingers, would have a reason to do it if their guy didn't quite pan out. But really quick, man, before we get on the clock here, I want to throw this out to Kenyon and Debbie before our pick.
Is Sanders good? Yes. I answered your question.
I want you guys to picture this scenario. I'm going to just use what I think is happening. I think Aaron Rodgers is not coming to the Steelers. I feel more strongly that boy might retire. Just listening to how he was talking, there's something else going on, right? Personal stuff. He's played 20 years. He has nothing to play for. He even said it ain't about the money. So I'm going to just assume we don't get Aaron Rodgers, and everybody knows that. Are you guys, as Steeler Nation, I'm not talking to Kenyon and Debbie, I just want to hear their response. Are y'all willing to accept Mason Rudolph as the starter and whoever else we bring in, and we just run with a season like that and just hope for the best? Are y'all really going to be satisfied? Because if you guys in the chat tell me you would, I'm going to remember every one of y'all that said you would, and we start losing. I don't want to hear, man, I don't understand why we can't. No. Y'all said y'all cool with that. And that's my only thing where I feel like they gonna pull the trigger. They might not do it in the first, but they're drafting a quarterback. Omar said they going to camp with 4 of them.
Yep.
It ain't gonna be 2 more free agents signed.
No. I don't.
They not ready for it. You and Debbie might be cool, but everybody here in this chat, for the most part, y'all ain't ready to just watch a mediocre season. No, y'all not.
Well, for me, I definitely do not want Aaron Rodgers. I've been consistent in that because for me, this team doesn't have any leadership, and I think for all the baggage he brings, he's just adding to the drama. So, this is a hard goal. If I had to have Mason for the year than to have that guy, I would have Christmas every day.
I ain't mad at that.
My take is like this. I know Aaron Rodgers would bring drama, I guess, in a lot of ways because he wants to be treated like a diva. He is a diva, but he's a diva with hardware. Say what you want, he beat us. Say what you want, beat us in the Super Bowl. Was carving us up. That's all I remember.
What was Kenny picking?
So
the Bucks took it. Bucks
took yeah. That's a good pick for them.
Yeah,
I like that. But for me, I look at it like, as Sim said, Aaron Rodgers not playing for the money. So if he's going to give me a discount, and I know I'm only going to have him for 1 year, and I'm just trying to be a playoff team, and I'm trying to follow the Kansas City model, because that's the model I'm following. Kansas City went to the playoffs, won a playoff game the year that they had before they drafted Mahomes. That's that year. Mahomes was not, they had a quarterback that was a borderline all-pro guy. And they got Mahomes. They traded up to get Mahomes. And I think that could be similar. Because to me, if Aaron Rodgers can win me a playoff game, I'm straight. That's how I look at it.
And he got his ring the last time the Steelers was in the game, playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So we both have a drought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But remember, he walking into the room with a ring. Mason ain't got no ring. Skylar Thompson ain't got no ring. You know what I'm saying? Cam Hayward ain't got no ring. TJ Watt ain't got no ring.
What kind of ring he has, you could be making this situation where this is the last of us, and he be the. Don't spoil it, because you don't do that. Yeah, because he already, before you even go there, just do not spoil it for some. He does not want to know. Gotta respect this stuff, so let's not. I ain't even going to do. We no Last of Us stuff, no Last of Us references, no Game of Thrones. You can talk Game of Thrones, House of Dragon. You can do anything like that, but you can't talk about no show he ain't watched. You gotta respect my boy. I agree with it. So no sinners, spoilers.
Oh yeah, I might try to go see that tomorrow.
I wasn't going there because I knew he didn't see that, but I thought he would have caught up.
I might try to go see that tomorrow.
Hey man, I'm trying to see it one more time, man, before I go to.
I am too.
But I will say, my boy saw Thunderbolts today and gave me his thoughts.
I'm gonna email you on that.
Yeah, he gave me his thoughts. He said, people gonna be shocked and be like, yo, yeah, because it's setting up something really big. If y'all thought Infinity War was good, coming. Let me just say that.
Wow.
If y'all thought Infinity War was something that was coming, y'all wait till 2026. That Avengers Doomsday happened. He saw it, and my boy don't never get hyped about anything. He's been hyped twice in 2 weeks. Sinners and this. So I gotta, you know what I mean? He a movie guy. He was like, look, man, I rock. I was like, hey man, just tell me the truth. I'm gonna still go see it. I might be mad, but I'll still go see it. But he was like, nah, man. I was like, oh, cool. So,
Night Rider, appreciate that Wonder Bread. Applause. He says he hopes we take Harmon. I can't forget that Harmon is still sitting there.
I agree.
Mark Cunningham, my man Mark said earlier that he reminded us that the Texas kid is sitting there, the receiver. I don't know if the Steelers do that though. I don't know if they do that first round. I'm just thinking about, well, unless the trade rumors are true for George. But as I sit today, I don't know if they do that. Let's just say DK, George. They don't really have a number 3, but I know they got plans for Roman Wilson. Calvin Austin perked up a little bit. So I just don't know if they would do it in the first. Sonny Rothmiller, man, he says something here that I'm not picking at you, Sonny, but he said 21 was Deion's number and taking Shedeur at 21 is the NFL script. I love all the conspiracies and things like that, but I don't think they're doing that for Deion Sanders. No, the NFL ain't doing that for him. It's the same reason, again, I don't want to get into this bag, but it's the same reason why Shedeur is getting all of this.
Yep.
The NFL, don't make me go there, y'all, because this ain't the show for it. But I'm telling you, that show's coming. The NFL is behind that too. Believe that. There's people in the NFL that they, prime is not. That's not the cloth that they prefer. They just, they don't like that, and they don't like his son coming and acting just like him, and that's why you're hearing all of that about. And I heard somebody's again, Peter Schrager has been saying.
These guys come in and do it. Now, if anything, I'll stand by him on that because they didn't say anything about how brash Baker was when he came in.
There we go.
Yeah.
Or what's that other guy?
Joe Burrow's brash. You don't say nothing about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow will he'll talk his stuff and will tell you.
But I don't remember him coming in that way. Because when these guys came in, all of their aura.
Right.
With them.
But is it real aura?
There's other kind of stuff that they're saying about this guy.
But Debs, is it real aura? Like, you know what I'm saying, Debs? Like when Deion came on the Florida State and he talked his stuff, he backed it up.
I understand that. My thing is keep it consistent, which in this country they don't do.
Yeah.
You got these guys that's coming in that could be, okay. I'm putting it down right now. Next year, I want to hear the same media coverage when that Manning kid comes out.
Yeah, I saw.
That's if he come out.
I saw a couple pundits saying that too, and that.
I mean, Eli did it, and he was no Peyton.
Shout out to a couple of those guys, man. Like the Mel Kipers of the world, the Peter Schragers, because they kept it a buck. And I heard some of that today saying, "Look, why didn't we hit that with some of them dudes? The Johnny Manziels and them and the Tebows."
That's what I was thinking about, Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel. Yeah.
Come on, man. The NFL got to stop. They got to stop playing. Y'all got to stop doing that. Which is the reason, again, like I told y'all, I'm rooting for Shedeur as long as he ain't in the AFC North, unless he's a Steeler. Same reason why I root for Lamar Jackson. I hate that I have to do it, but it drove me crazy that they kept trying to make that man change positions. He should be. Shut up.
Exactly.
Look at him now. And I know, he ain't won no Super Bowl. So what? But the boy is one of the best quarterbacks in the league now.
And he actually really developed because initially he was running a lot, which is why a lot of pundits kept saying, he's not going to be a good thrower. He's not a good thrower. He doesn't throw, whatever. Then the last 2 years, he's been a damn good thrower.
Yes, he has.
Wow.
Legit.
So the Denver Broncos just selected Jahdae Barron. And I love this kid. The Denver Broncos did not draft a running back. And I think this is it's not even an out-of-box pick. It's a great pick because he's kind of like, what's your boy that's in Detroit that you know what I'm talking about? That plays kind of like multiple positions, plays safety. You know what we talking about, Sim? The kid that made All-Pro that we loved when he was coming out, but we knew he was going to drop to us. Went to Alabama. Went to Alabama. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Brian Branch. Brian Branch.
Yeah, Branch. Yep.
Brian Branch. Thanks, Kev. Jade is, I like Jade Barron, man.
Did they have Jade as the first corner coming off, or was it more of that Johnson kid?
But see, Johnson got hurt and he hasn't worked out, so his stock is falling. Got you.
Well, we on the clock.
Johnson got hurt in our game. We played him.
That's right.
That was the last time we seen him. Yeah.
We on the clock, guys. Listen, tonight I bought out some extra power. I had to put the Heinz Ward on.
You know what I'm saying? I got some liquor.
Had to go old school. Had to put the watch on. Had to go, I had to break it all out, man. Had to break it all out.
The watch is fire.
Look, to be disappointed. Appreciate it, brother. To be disappointed. Watch. Watch they do something stupid again.
I should go dark so nobody see my face.
Oh my God, man.
Y'all gotta get the poker face, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This gonna be
you don't want to get caught out there, have to go to court, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect, Shannon Sharp, but you don't want to get in no situation like that.
Man, let me tell you, bro.
You know what I mean? You don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we gotta talk.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Another show. I promise y'all, I told my wife last night. I kept telling, I've been advertising it. I gotta do a show where I could just talk about some real life stuff.
Yeah, man.
Still gonna keep it, I still ain't gonna go too crazy because I don't want YouTube to get
what you
me.
Pay for.
But dog, Shay, listen, let me tell you something. Even if you wanted to so-called mess with you a little young, here's the problem I got with that particular.
Don't even get it. I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to get into it. That's how bad it is. I don't even want to go there, dog.
But I gotta say that one piece.
Is in already?
The girl looked like a kid. Like she looks like a child. She looked young. You know what I mean? Like she don't even. You can't do that, Shay. That's all I'm gonna say.
Look, man, I got an opinion. I just not gonna say it because, as Sim knows, there are 3 things I know about, and one of these things is I know about this stuff. I can't. This is a PG show. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I know.
But I know stuff. I'm gonna be quiet. But let me just say, shut up. I know somebody who really wanted to. Let me just shut up.
And here's the crazy thing. The obvious setup, like, bruh, like I understand you from the sticks and all that, but you've been around. Dog, if them conversations is real,
man. Where you from, it does not change how you act, man. Like people always say people are Hollywood. I'm like, no, he's from Alabama. He came out here, that's on him. That's his personality. That's how you are. You know what I'm saying? It's Hollywood don't corrupt you. You corrupt you. You know what I'm saying? You corrupt you, not Hollywood. You do.
The obvious setup, bro. The way she was talking is like you can't peep that game, bro.
All right.
But anyway, we're gonna leave him alone. All right, Steelers.
You guys are ahead of me.
Oh
yes.
There we go. Derek Harmon.
Yes.
Round of applause to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes.
Okay, they did not do what we thought they were going to do. One more again, round of applause.
Yes.
Now let's talk it up. Let's talk about it. So, for any of you guys who don't know, some of y'all were very happy. Some of you guys were very happy. Y'all kept saying Harmon. Smart pick.
Smart.
Because I do believe they are going to draft a quarterback. I just think they're going to do it later now. And I'm cool with that.
Yep.
The way people are falling, let me say this. I don't think
Might not have to move. Bro.
Hmm?
We might not have to move.
We might not. And I don't think Milroe might not even go in the second.
I don't.
Nope.
Oh, so that's the guy, the quarterback that you guys think should be the Steelers.
That I thought might go in the second, but now I'm thinking unless there's a run in the second,
might be in the third.
That Milroe might fall. Or if he's late second, you can trade up for that. That's not going to cost you a lot.
Won't cost you much. That's what I was.
So
See, we be thinking the same. I'm
yeah,
not
man.
mad at them trading up in the second to get in the second.
I'm glad because it's alignment.
The trenches, baby.
Yeah.
Got to do
That's
it.
I'm inside out, and I haven't looked a lot at his stuff, but I just want somebody to stop the run, plug up some holes.
Yeah. I mean, we got to add to
Wow.
depth. It's just depth. It's depth. We need depth. I don't think he's not a sexy pick, but if he's going to help our interior defensive line, when you're doing the rotation of Benton, Harmon, Tomlin, and Omar Khan kind of laid it out. We don't really play traditional 3-4 that much anymore. It's kind of more nickel. And in that scenario, you got to have bodies.
Which is interesting because a lot of times, sometimes NFL kind of follows the scheming of college because that's the way the college guys come out. That's why you see a lot of people now not under the center, quarterback there, all in the shotgun.
Go ahead, young
But,
man. Get them tears out.
Since the defenses aren't really like 3-4 traditional defenses,
Yeah.
surprised that a lot of college organizations run still a traditional 3-4 where you have nose guards.
Well, you can't now because college in a lot of ways dictates the NFL. So if you think about it, colleges are running a lot of RPO, so they're kind of forcing you to be in a non-traditional 3-4. You know what I mean? Like you kind of can't run that now. So they're doing where they're spreading you out, spread you out, RPO. So your defense is basically going to be nickel or dime. And in college, they run crazy defenses. Like they run a 3-3-5 in college. Like you can't even run that in NFL. You know what I mean? But that's what they run. So
somebody that I was looking at that there's some of the comments about him was that he would be a good nose or a good technique, and I'm like, but
nah. Yeah, there's really only one guy that's like that in this draft that you would take at 21, and that would have been Grant if he would have failed. But even him, he's quick enough to where you can move him. You know what I mean? The nose tackle traditionally is a guy he wants to eat up blocks, and Grant can do that. And I don't think like Mason Graham wouldn't fit in our traditional 3-4 because you would say he's playing nose, but he can't play nose because he's not big enough and his arms are short, so he can't play traditional nose. Benton, who can play it, he's kind of a combo guy. You can put him to the outside, to the inside. Like Cameron Hayward and Benton are similar. I would say the best example what we had would be Tua. Tua was the guy. That's really the model of what Pittsburgh is trying to get back to it, because Tua was so versatile that you could put him. You know what I mean? He can play up and down the line, and that's just you don't get that all the time. You know what I mean? So if they can keep adding. I said Philadelphia is the model. Just keep adding. You can, I think me personally, I get another. I would try to get another one. That's just me, because I want them trenches. I want that stacked. You know what I mean? I want that stacked. Come at you in waves. So I like Alexander. I like Darius Alexander. Like, give me him. Yeah. Add him. So
I love watching the chat, man, and everybody's different opinions, and I respect them all. The funny thing is that I'm just looking at, if anybody else is watching Pat McAfee's coverage, I'm only watching it because it's on ESPN Plus on my phone. Can you guys tell me who that was? I don't know his name. The one who just went off about the Steelers not drafting the QB and F-bomb this, and y'all better. What I love what McCarthy said, the NFL head coach, and I know some of y'all gonna say, oh yeah, the fired coach. McCarthy was a good coach in the league. He has a Super Bowl.
Yep.
He said about the pick, love it. Trust your history. That's all he said.
Exactly.
So I just want you guys to see, and again, I'm not saying coaches are always right, but it's just the parody is always funny, because even in the chat here, some of y'all are big mad. Y'all really wanted Shador. And again,
those are people that listen to First Take.
Yeah, my only question again to y'all, again, I'm not saying you're wrong. We do need a QB. But I will continue to ask you guys, what about Shador do you think meshes with the Steelers' current offensive scheme? And we have no history to tell us that the Steelers would do what the Ravens did and change the offense completely. We don't have a history of that.
Right.
So that's my only thing for you guys that was pounding the table for Shedeur. I like Shedeur too. However, I've been saying since day one, he does not fit what we do.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm just curious to know
next year, if they picked him and it didn't work out, it'd be a bunch of people in here switching up, saying, "Oh, we should have never picked him." Blah 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 blah. I wish you could screenshot these.
It wouldn't even be this time next year. It wouldn't even be this time next year, Debs. It'd be the minute he have a bad game and Sim is doing the post game show.
Oh yeah. Oh, they on
it. It won't even. It doesn't take that long. Like that's how quick it is. Like nah, man, we should have did this. It's like, come on, bro. It's like you can't get everything that you want. You can't address all your needs with one pick.
And that's. I mean, I don't want to like say who doesn't know the Steelers organization or what have you, because everybody comes in at different points. But knowing how this club operates, they're either most likely picking their guy or like the best person available and make that guy fit what they're going to do. It's been like that since the establishment, 22?
It's been like that since 71. Here's a funny thing.
Not after
they stepped out. I mean, them picking Pickett was a step out.
It was. And
that was non-traditional of the Steelers.
Exactly.
Yeah. Them trading up for Devin Bush was a reach. It was non-traditional because they had lost Shazier and they had to replace Shazier, who they thought was going to be there 15 years, 10, 11, 12 years. So this is what I'm saying. Like,
you need guys that's going to work with what you got.
And if Harmon pans out and he's a rotation player and he's helping us stop the run next year, I'm going to be giddy because that's what I want. I want to be able to, especially when it gets cold and we got to play the Browns. And that's what I want. I want that. You know what I'm saying?
It was probably people probably saying Hightower was suck when he was picked.
So when me and Sim was talking about Hightower, they was like, yeah, he's just all right. I said, okay. All right.
And
he's like, all right.
The draft not over, y'all.
Nope. It's the one pick.
Like nobody who knows what's gonna happen. The Steelers, your Steelers, might trade back up and get Shedeur. Or whichever quarterback.
You gotta come up too far for that.
But I'm just saying, anything can happen.
I think if anything, the Browns will do it because
no, the Browns have to trade up. They don't have to trade up.
They can sit. They got the 33rd pick.
Yeah, I thought they would
stay right at. And actually, here's the funny thing: who knows if the first round pick gonna pan out? What did I say earlier? It does not matter. The first round is a crapshoot.
It doesn't matter.
You don't know if your first round pick is gonna be good. You do not. It's usually your second round pick, your third round pick.
They in here saying the draft over, man. Listen, I let y'all have it, man. Yeah,
man.
I just it to me, like I said, the scale is so far apart. You got people who absolutely hate Shedeur going to the Steelers, and then you have others over here saying this is a career, a company-wide, organization-wide biggest error. That's why I just give my opinion and I don't debate nobody.
Marino. That's it.
People saying it. They in the chat right there. We're gonna regret it. Okay. I mean, I just don't. Again, y'all might like him. I just don't see how he fit.
This big thing about this quarterback situation, because everybody keeps like filtering the atmosphere with it. So
Marion Hampton to the Chargers.
Everybody is itching to get whatever quarterback is on the board.
Yeah. And dang, Najee. Dang, Najee. Dang, Najee. It's only a 1-year deal for Najee. So
so they got to run it back?
Yeah. I'm just going to be honest. He might take snaps from Najee. He's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Dang, Najee. That's a...
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Are they the same type of back?
Nah, they're both big, but this guy he's faster. He can, you know what I mean? He can break away. He's a breakaway guy more so than Najee is.
See,
He's a breakaway guy.
Now they're gonna show all of the runs that he does in the middle.
Yeah. He's a breakaway guy.
At the end.
So that's why we can't never have no fan meetup. I mean, you can't have no your listeners meetup, dude. That's why I can never attend. I can't be in that situation, man. I have no patience for that. Like, I'm being honest with you, I have zero, none. I be like, man, come on, man.
I would clearly be hand picking who.
I couldn't do it, man. I can't do that, man. Can't do it. What's the?
Reminds me.
It just depends on, you know. Yeah, that's an interesting pick for. So I mean, Green Bay. Who would Green Bay go after? Would you get him a weapon? Would you take that receiver out? I take that receiver out of Texas.
Oh yeah, they got a nice little young crop, but I mean, it never hurt.
Yeah. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Wonder Breads, we got a couple quick ones. Infamous Tim and Antoine Hill, appreciate it. And actually, just thinking about something. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap up too, man, because I mean, I ain't gonna sit here and I'm gonna watch it, but I got some other stuff I need to get to tonight. But he says Najee can't catch a break. Yeah. And then Antoine says, do y'all think we double dipping at D-line or nose? That I don't know. I mean, there are some other guys. Keep an eye on all of those dudes we brought in.
Mm-hmm.
We brought in a good amount of those guys for the pre-draft visits. So they might be later round guys, even like my man out of Florida State. But I can't call it. I think for sure running back is being drafted.
Yep.
Cornerback.
I think quarterback's being drafted. Cornerback, maybe.
Quarterback.
I can see us double dipping that tackle. Twan, I don't think we're drafting. There's no more traditional noses that we're going to try to draft like that. I think they would double dip with another defensive tackle. There's a kid out of Iowa that you can get later rounds, and the kid Ty Robinson out of Nebraska that you could get middle round, something like that. But I don't know if you would do that. And I wouldn't rule out if they feel like they want to keep adding weapons to the receiver room, even though, they've shown pictures of Roman Wilson working out. They could add to that room if they want to, since if they don't trade George Pickens, which I don't think they're going to do, unless they get an offer they can't refuse. But, yeah, I think they made sneaky off-season free agent moves at corner that can pan out. They got a slot, they got an outside guy. I guess you could maybe consider safety, but I really think they might target. I think safety next year, the safety class next year is nice. So they might, you know what I mean? They might do that. If Deshaun is gone, you'd be able to replace him with somebody, a rookie that's just a couple of kids, man, who really fit with the Pittsburgh Steelers. In college. And they have to come out. It won't be an NIL situation. They got to come out. So, it's I don't know about traditional nose because we don't run 3-4 enough to be traditional nose team.
Yeah, not the double dip. My bad, Deron. He said I missed a donation. I don't see it in the chat no more, but thank you for it, first of all. But if it was a message attached, I don't see it anymore. I can't go back and read it. Well, how long we been on? 2 hours, yeah. I have to get out of here. I'm starving. I got to go eat something. I ate a little something before the show, but
yeah, I did too.
Enjoyed it, man, like always. I think this was probably one of our more relaxed reactions to a first-round pick. They didn't reach. I'm sorry for you guys who really wanted Shedeur Sanders. Hey, listen. I mean, what you want me to tell you? We always.
The only thing I would be wondering is what did they think he would be doing or what he would do this year?
That's my only thing, man. I gave y'all my thoughts. For anybody that don't believe it, go watch my video that was dedicated to Shador. I think Shador will be a solid quarterback in the NFL. I just couldn't find a way he fit Pittsburgh. That's all. But some of you guys feel differently. Some of the media pundits felt that, and I was asking myself to them, like talking to the TV, like, why do y'all like? What do y'all see? Where does Arthur Smith and Shador Sanders come together? I just never saw that.
Which always makes me question their punditry or knowledge of the game or the team.
Well, you didn't see any quarterbacks in this draft. Like, let's have a frank conversation. What quarterbacks in this draft? You have to look at who fits, as Sim said, the Arthur Smith system, who would be a perfect fit. That's Cam Ward, who went one.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can make an argument for Dart. I understand. And Sim loves Dart.
Yeah,
you can make an argument for Dart, but Dart's still on the board. And they got Dart rated ahead of Shador now.
Yeah.
So if he's still on the board, what is that telling you? This quarterback class is not what you think it is, and they're dropping. And that's just the reality. And I don't want to say even dropping. Maybe they're going where they're slots to go.
Yeah.
That's the part we're not talking about. Because you listen to the pundits, and they're saying this guy's, no. The teams don't look at them that way. The organizations don't look at them that way. So, and it's not hatred. It's not, if Dart hasn't went, you can't claim race because Dart is supposedly better than Shador. So Dart is better. He's still on the board. Sanders is still on the board. Shuck is still on the board. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. The quarterbacks this year are not great.
What is it? Milroe or something like
Milroe,
that?
Jalen Milroe.
Milroe still on the board. But you know what? Kenyon just made a really good point. I hope y'all caught it. Why do we feel, still a nation again, I got to pick on us. Why do y'all feel like the Steelers were so smart that they could just sit at 21 and just steal Shador right under the noses of all these other teams who needed a quarterback?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? There has to be, listen, all of them could be wrong, but what I'm saying is the draft happens like that every year. Couple surprises, but these GMs talk. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like the Steelers were just the brightest team and they're just we're going to sneak in and get Shador. Nobody else, teams that you could say needs a quarterback, took him. Giants.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Browns.
The Giants didn't take him. The Saints, the Saints with Derek Carr.
The Saints didn't even take him.
The Saints didn't take him.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not trashing Shador. I'm just saying when y'all say stuff in the chat like I'm done with this team, man. Again, you're too emotional. Don't take that as disrespect. I'm just saying you're too emotional as a fan.
You're Carl Thomas, no Diddy.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
Y'all
it.
be ready to quit on the team every time you disagree with something. Like, come on, man. Like, and we don't know if that was the wrong pick. We don't know. I remember when we picked TJ Watt, I remember people saying, oh man, we got the scraps. He's the last pass rusher. You never know.
You just do not know. It's what it is. You can't. We're not in the room. You're not a GM. I'm not a GM. Sim not a GM. Debbie not a GM. It's all opinion, speculation, and what you think could happen, which is nice. But the reality is you're not in that room. You don't know how they're looking at those people, man. They bringing people in. You can get confused by them bringing people in, which is why I don't take big stock in the top 30 visits, because I don't know. Some of it's smokescreen, and they kind of told you that. I think that's another thing. It's like people don't listen to what they're saying. They don't listen. It's like they want to hear what they want to hear. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like when you got a kid and you tell them, yo, don't touch that stove. He ain't trying to hear, you know what I mean? They're not trying to hear you. They're going to do it anyway. Yep. So they got to learn the lesson. So, you know, Sam, I said it. Matthew Golden. I said it.
There it is.
Matthew Golden.
Okay.
Another weapon. That's a great pick for them.
Great pick for them. Absolutely.
That's a great pick for them.
Wow.
I like that pick.
Vikings, Texans, Rams. Rams might take a QB, maybe.
Yeah.
Ravens,
Don't they still
Detroit.
have Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, he's
but
38.
he old.
I'll put you this way. I would take Dart.
The other
I
one
would
that's
take
the top one for the Steelers is old.
if I was the Rams, I would take Dart.
If I was the Rams, yeah,
I'd take Dart.
If there's nobody else at 26 that I
Right.
must have,
Right. I'd take Dart. I would
Succession
consider,
plan,
I would
man.
consider that. Yep.
yeah,
I would
succession
consider
plan.
that.
And by the way, Steelers fans, that's why we are where we are anyway. The Steelers failed horribly with planning for Ben Roethlisberger's departure.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
you can't get around that. We failed. The
Because they
biggest
let him
swing was
dictate-
Mason Rudolph.
They let him dictate his time to leave
Yeah.
until it was like, no question, we're not resigning you.
Yeah.
After millions of dollars later. And then to add insult to injury, he didn't really like train or mentor.
He wasn't
anyone.
receptive. Right. He wasn't receptive to it. He wasn't
Exactly.
receptive to it. And
Which
think
was
about it.
selfish
The
thing to do.
Steelers retired other people. I want y'all to think about who the person they let slide. Ben got to go out the way he wanted to go out.
Yeah.
Troy didn't. Troy didn't. Hines Ward didn't. You know what I'm saying? James Harrison didn't.
Nope.
That's what I'm saying. Jerome Bettis didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, so all this stuff, that's what I'm saying. Like, the Ben mistake is really a repeat of the Bradshaw mistake.
Bettis
It's just a repeat. It's deja vu.
Coward, so he went out kind of with the way he wanted to.
Yeah, he was gonna play. Yeah, he was gonna play. Yeah, he thought about it. Yeah,
But
yeah,
I mean, the other guys
yeah,
did not get to go out the way they
Yeah.
wanted to. And
Yeah.
the thing is, Steelers was always kind of known, almost like the way Bill Belichick was. We're gonna get rid of a guy
Yeah.
before he gets too old for us. Ben's
Belichick
the only
is-
one that got away with that.
So Belichick was dirty with that, man. He would get you like. Remember he got rid of Richard Seymour? I was like, yo, he got rid of Seymour, man. Like he got rid of you like right there. Like he knew. Like even if you played good, he was like, no, you gotta go. Like, you gotta think about the future. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Yeah. It is
know
what
what,
it is.
man?
It's
I guess this is part of. I'm going to say something real quick before I close the show. I guess this is part of it. You know, when you, I don't know. I'm not a media person or nothing like that. I guess I would say when I present a show, you get all of these random theories. And at one time I said I was going to stop responding, but it's kind of fun to respond to some of this stuff. I'm going to respond to this last thing. Keith Van Nelson says, how does it make sense for LA to take Dart, but not for the Steelers? First thing, when did anybody say it wasn't smart for the Steelers to take Dart? In fact, I talked about Dart quite a bit. Number two, can you not understand why the Rams, it would be smart to take a quarterback while they have an aging guy?
right.
I don't understand how some of y'all don't connect those dots. That is the problem that we're in now. We didn't do that.
Exactly. No forward planning.
So the two don't go together. Nobody, at least I didn't, maybe somebody in the chat did. Nobody said it wasn't smart for the Steelers to take a quarterback. I've been repeatedly saying, hey man, take one this year and next year.
Yep.
But
And years of that.
I don't
Because if you want to
care.
have a real conversation, you take quarterback every year. You know what I mean? If you want to have a real conversation, if you want to, feel like you keep missing out, but
yeah.
you can't. Come on, man. I mean, the Rams situation and the Steelers situation is totally different. It's a different offense. That's the part that if you make that, it's the offenses. Different offenses require different skill sets for different quarterbacks.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, you guys did say that. I don't want to use my picks for every year to be picking somebody. That means someone in scouting is not doing what they need to do.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
before you go, I do or sign off. I do want to make a mention to a comment that let me find it. Oh, that Mark Cunningham made. He said, headline in the Pittsburgh paper in 1969. Who's Joe Green?
Oh wow. See? So we've been fair. They've been fair weather fans forever, huh? See,
forever, man.
so we think we know more. You know, it's a fun game to play. All of us, you know, we all want our guy. But it's the truth of the matter is we always sit here and say it. We try to be mature and we say, look, it is a crapshoot, man. You never know who is going to be who. And just because you and your heart feel like this is the right pick, that doesn't mean that it's the right pick. I do have to allow these professionals, even though I think I know a little something, but I don't know more than the Dan. What's the Rooney dude that's the scout? I forget his first name.
Oh yeah. Dan Rooney. It's because 3 of them. It's the younger one.
More than these people, man.
Yeah.
They do this for a living. So sometimes I gotta trust the organization, even if I disagree. I trust Mike Tomlin, even though I disagree with the go with the hot hand. Let just cook. But I understood why he went with Russ. I understood it, but I didn't necessarily want it to happen after 4-2. I was like, hey man, they both 1 year guys. There's no commitment to Russ. Yeah. Let Justin play it out.
Yeah.
But I still trust that he knows what he's doing as a coach. And y'all will say he doesn't, but come on, man.
I mean, it just depends on who you have, man. It depends on who you get. That's all it comes down to. You can say somebody's not a good coach. People wanted. Remember, Andy Reid got fired.
Uh-oh.
Andy, you know what I mean?
Uh-oh. I'm going to stay for this last pick.
Giants trade up?
Uh-oh. The Giants on the clock.
They going to get Shador.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Shador and Dart.
Oh, I got to see it just to see some of y'all go crazy. if it Shador. Oh, man, hold on.
One thing would be whether
if
the Giants didn't pick a quarterback, would they be just as stupid as the Steelers not picking them one at 21 when the Giants definitely need to have one?
Jackson Dart is smiling in that green room.
Yep. It might be Dart.
No, it should be Shador.
Remember, they asked look, and you can't believe everything you see. And they said, and then some people say Shador didn't have a great meeting with the Giants. I don't know how much you can take. I don't know how much you take that seriously. They say he had a one-on-one meeting with with the coach Brian Dable, and they say it didn't go well. But I don't know if that's true. Shador is like his father, where he will speak. He's gonna say what he's gonna say. He's gonna talk the way he's gonna talk, like his pops. He's kind of a mirror of his pops. You know what I'm saying, in that way. But I think the Giants would be a great place for Shador because they're really in rebuild mode. And think about it: you've gotten a pass rusher, and you've gotten a quarterback, and see how that works out. And and Cleveland will still probably take. If Shador falls, they probably might take him at 33.
33, yeah.
Because the Rams, that's the place where the Rams probably wouldn't take Shador, but I think they would take Dart. So I think that coach thinks he can, he can get something out of him. Now Dart don't have the arm talent that Stafford does, but there's like 3 quarterbacks in the NFL that has Stafford's arm talent. So even at 38, he still throws better than, So, I just don't want to see I just don't want to see bottom 10 Kirk over here. That's all I care about. That don't happen, I'm happy. I don't want bottom 10.
That better not happen.
I do not want bottom 10.
Price tag.
No. I do not.
After they announced this pick, I'm going to get out of here, but I'm going to make a bold prediction. If Jackson Dart is picked here, I do believe Shador doesn't make it to the 3rd. Pittsburgh Steelers was going to end up with Jalen Milroe. Bold prediction. They're gonna end up, because I know I can't say for sure, but my heart is telling me they're gonna pick somebody, because Omar said they're going to camp with 4, and I just don't see them going to camp with 2 additional free agents. I can see a free agent, and I can see a pick.
The Texans just came up. The Texans traded the 25th pick. They got the second round pick at 34. They got a 5th round pick, and they got a 4th round pick for this year.
Wow.
Texans came up.
Wow, and they did all that for. So who? Okay, so let's play this game.
Yes.
Because everybody want to be a GM, right? Who were the Giants afraid of?
Why would they trade?
Who were they afraid of? Who did they think was going to pick Dart? The Rams? Out of all of the teams that are left, there's nobody to be afraid of except for the Rams.
Hey, okay, Sim, let's play. Have you ever?
Like, see, guys, this is the mystery. Like, what? It had to be the Rams, and that's why I said GMs must talk, because there's nobody else on this list that you think would take a quarterback. Not the Ravens, not the
Detroit.
Maybe Detroit, but I doubt it.
Everybody got a quarterback.
They all got quarterbacks.
Right. Washington and Buffalo, KC. That's why I said KC could trade up to 20 because they might want to add, might want to get a piece. But what is KC needs? What offensive line? They need left tackle.
Yeah.
They need left tackle.
Yeah. But see how this game goes, man. The Rams must have scared them boys.
Signal, yeah, they scared them. Yep.
Interesting.
You are exactly right, Sam. Because those other teams are not drafting a quarterback. Atlanta, you know what I mean? Atlanta just traded in.
Uh-oh.
Wait a minute.
Atlanta just traded in.
So who they going to get?
The Giants wasn't gonna pick a quarterback, I don't think, anyway.
No, they were. The Giants need a quarterback.
Well, they got 2 there now.
Yeah, but them Russell Wilson. And Jameis Winston. Like.
So Atlanta traded in.
So
the action is gonna be tomorrow, bro. The action is you did the wrong show, bro. The show should have been tomorrow. The action is tomorrow, bro.
Yeah.
The action is tomorrow, bro. That's the action.
Oh yeah.
Jackson Dart. There we go.
Yeah, there it is, Jackson Dart. Okay.
There we go. And the Rams would have took Jackson Dart. That's why they traded out. The Rams traded out because they knew the Giants were gonna take Dart, so they trade out.
Now here's what I'm really gonna be interested to see. I can't wait till tomorrow.
Yep.
If the Browns don't take Shador,
yep,
then I want to see what everybody got to say in the chat.
Yep.
But guys, I'm gonna call a wrap on this show. This was great. I appreciate Kenyon and obviously Debbie from hanging out with us. Tomorrow I will come and discuss the pick more than likely. Won't do a long show. It's just whenever the Steelers pick, I might jump on and do a stream and we'll talk about it. But that'll be that. I might try to get to the movies tomorrow, so I don't know. We'll see how it's gonna go. But guys, hey, be happy or be mad. I saw it split here in the chat. Some of you guys were ecstatic. Some of y'all hated it. We got a lot of questions, man. If we don't come away with a quarterback, well, let's say this. What we'll talk about tomorrow is who the Steelers takes and whatever draft picks they have tomorrow.
Right.
And then, if let's say Milroe, Shador are all gone, those two are gone already. Then the question becomes, who do the Steelers draft and at what round? Because I feel like they're going to draft one of these guys. Is it going to end up being the McCord guy or somebody like that? But we'll see.
Yeah.
But catch y'all later, man. Y'all know the routine. Y'all be safe. God bless. Good night. Thank y'all for tuning in, of course. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next one. Here we go, Steelers. Peace.